Bethany with PlumEasy Patterns, and today I'm going to walk you through how to make the folded star pincushion. Okay. So this is the pattern here. I believe it is 4 pages, full color, really great instructions. I'm going to walk you through how we get started. Pattern comes with a template. This is printed on interfacing, and you can see the lines are printed forwards and backwards because we are going to be working on both sides of the template, so we can always read what we're doing. And how we get our star on our pincushion is we're going to start with prairie points. Prairie point here is a square of fabric. We're going to press it in half down to, this will be wrong sides together, down to a rectangle, and we'll take both sides and fold them down to get this prairie point. We're going to do 8 of these, and this is going to build our star. So once we take our template, we're going to take a 5-inch circle. This is going to be the top of our star here, so we're not going to need a perfect circle. We're just going to glue this down with a glue stick, and then our prairie points will lie right on the edge. It says triangle, and then the point will lie on the inside. So the middle of the point that's got the line running through will line up right on that line. When we glue these down around with a glue stick all the way around, our star emerges. We haven't done any sewing, and now we are ready to sew. We'll take this to our machine and we'll stitch around the edge. I like to do about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. That's our first seam, and our star is complete. Now what we're going to do is we need this octagon to be a square like this. So I like to turn my template over and I'll trim it. All my lines are here for me on my template, so I can take it and trim it from the back, and it'll show me right where to trim it. And I'm not going to trim my template, but I'll end up here with the top. Now from here I need to make a square and square block. I'll take the square fabric that my pattern tells me to use. I'll line it up in my corner like I have here, lined up in the corner, and I'm going to sew on my template from my edge to, sorry, my dot to my dot on my template. All the lines are here labeled. They'll tell me where to sew. I can sew edge to edge. It'll press over. Same thing on this side. I sew from the dot to the dot, press over, and then I can trim right along the edge of my block here, take off these little dog ears, and I've got half my block ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing on this side with the whole square fabric here, and this time I'll sew all the way across, and again that line is all the way through my template, and I sew from the back, and it's showing me right where to sew. And if I do all the way across here, press it over, on the other side again, press it over, I've got my block all the way completed. We are going to keep this second layer of fabric on here. Most pincushions will have you fill a little pouch with your filling and stick it inside. This eliminates that process if we have it extra reinforced with the 2 layers of fabric, and then the interfacing will stay in there. From here, we'll take our block and we'll fold it in half after we squared it up to 8.5, I believe, or maybe 8 inches. The pattern will say, we'll sew down our dotted line here and across the miter line just where the pattern tells us to sew. So we're going to be mitering these lines here, but the template's going to do all the work for us. So I've drawn it out here in a dark black. I'll come down and across. I like to come back. Same thing on this side, down and across. And then when I pop this open to do my next one, you can see it's kind of taking that shape of the star here. So this side I would match up my seams, kind of smoosh this to fit under my needle, and this time I'll start on the miter line and come down and over about 1 inch because I want to leave this gap. This side again, down and over about 1 inch, leaving this gap here. And when I turn my pincushion inside out, I've got a pincushion here ready to fill. One of the neat tricks I like in the pattern is that we say that you should add your button on first with a long thread and a long needle. We need the needle to fit all the way through the pincushion here. So we're using a long doll making needle. And the template comes with a little dot in the center here, so that once you flipped it inside out, you can look inside and center that button perfectly. So once we get our needle on and our button, we're just going to sew this on 1 or 2 stitches. We'll leave this attached and hanging out, and then we'll fill our pincushion with whatever filling we're using. I like the ground walnut shells. We'll fill that all the way, sew it up with another needle and thread, and then we can use this one to pull all the way through, add a button to the back to anchor it, and we'll sew through a couple layers without having to try to pin this button on once it's filled. It's a lot harder to do that. So we'll pull it through a couple times and tuft it. I like to pinch it and get that nice little dip in there. And that's your pincushion complete.